Hey y'all, let's talk about being perfect. Is that possible? Hey y'all, I'm Jamie. Welcome to this moment. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. I want to talk about perfectionism and a little bit about comparing. So I just picked up a fun new hobby. Like I needed another hobby, but I love doing things. And this one is really fun. I picked up watercolors. So it happened to be that my husband decided we were gonna have a date night at home, and we did a watercolor paint tutorial thing and just kind of sat around and talked. It was super fun. And I realized that I really like painting with watercolors. It's new for me. I've never really painted with watercolors. Now, I don't mean anything risque. What I mean is with real watercolors. Now, I'm used to like kid packs of watercolors, and we do that all the time, but this is like real deal watercolors, and I realized that I really like it. But in watching these tutorials, I get done with my painting and it looks similar to the painting that the artist has shown in the tutorial, but it doesn't look as good as hers. And I have trouble with that, I guess. I want it to look as good as an artist who has spent, I don't know, 30 years maybe, practicing the art of watercolor. And I have spent maybe 30 days, intermittently, sort of kind of, practicing the art of watercolor. So really what I'm saying is I want her progress without her practice. And that's really not fair for us to assume that we can get that progress without the practice. And that's where comparison comes in. And we've been talking about identity. I wanted to take a break from the little videos I've been doing. Check those out if you haven't already. But the little videos I've been doing about who God says we are, I wanted to take a minute to just look at how we see ourselves. As women, I think we spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to other women. And that can be so dangerous for us to do because, for one thing, we are not that other woman. We have no idea what she's going through, what she has been through, and who she is when we don't see her. So us comparing is really not fair. But for me, being a semi-perfectionist, type A personality, I like my schedules and I like my checklists. And if I see these other women doing things, I want to be able to do them as well as I see those women do them. And that's really not fair to me, for one, because I haven't had their practice. And for two, it's not fair to them because it's disregarding their story. It's disregarding what they've been through and the practices that they have had to put in place in their life. It's just not fair. I do call myself a semi-perfectionist because really I do make my lists and I like to check them off, but a list or schedule for me only lasts about a week or two. So I'm hoping to work on breaking that and actually getting through the things I commit to. But I think part of my problem is that I commit to just too many things. I want to paint and I want to sew and I want to do these videos for you and I want to write and I want to be a good mom and I want to go outside with my girls and I have to clean and I have to do laundry, and I can't do all of those things and expect to do any of them well because I'm spreading myself way too thin. So I think what I have to do is pick a few things that I am going to practice regularly. And I am going to practice towards progress. Because I've heard this saying my whole life, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. That is a lie from the devil, is what I have decided. Because that devil is using that phrase to get me to think, oh, well, if I can't be perfect, then I'm just not going to do it. And that's where I end up falling a lot. Because I expect myself to be perfect. And when I'm not, then I just quit. Because if I can't be perfect, then I'll leave. If I can't be successful, I'm not going to try. And I think the Bible speaks to that in us so well. And we're going to start in Romans in chapter 5, verse 8. This is what it says. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. I don't have to be perfect. That verse releases me of it, because God came for me before I was even any good, much less perfect. So I don't have to be perfect. And I feel like that should just release so much tension and so much weight off of us. We don't have to be perfect. God's not expecting it. And our salvation and his love for us is not dependent on perfection, not on our perfection. It is, in fact, dependent on Christ's perfection. And that is something that is true and real. And when we accept him as our Savior, God sees us through the filter of Christ's perfection. And that is liberating. That's freeing, that we don't have to be perfect. We can just keep working and progressing as we practice towards perfection, yes, because the ultimate goal is to be like Christ. But I'm not going to get there in this life. So all I can do is continue to practice towards perfection. So then if we look over in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, it says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." God's power works best in our weakness. It says his power is made perfect in my weakness. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do it all, because even when I'm not perfect, which is all the time, yeah, I can rest in the fact that God is strong enough for my weakness. So when I'm hungry for those cookies I really should not be eating, or when I don't want to do my workout, or when the dishes are piled up in the sink and I really should put them in the dishwasher and I haven't yet, that's when God can be strong in my life, because I'm weak. I don't want to do those things, but if I lean on Christ, then I can do it. Perfectionism is actually pride. I know that about myself. I know that I'm being prideful because I want people to see that Jamie is good. But guess what? Jamie is not good. I'm just not. I try to be, but I'm not, because I'm a broken, sinful person, just like everyone else in this world. But the Bible also helps me out there. So if I look in Proverbs 16, verse 18, if we look there, that's the verse that people like to quote, that pride goes before the fall. And that's true. When we are prideful, that's when we're so dependent on who we are, we end up letting things fall apart, because we cannot hold it all together. And that is just the truth of it. We can't. And that's something that I struggle with so much, is trying to hold it all together myself. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm looking for my notes and they've all gotten so mixed up. But so when I try to hold it together and I am taking pride in what Jamie can do and I'm dependent on Jamie, that's when it all starts to fall apart. But if I remember in Colossians 1:17, it says, "He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." This is talking about Jesus. Jesus holds it all together. I don't have to do that. So again, the Bible is freeing me from perfection. Jesus holds it all together. Not this girl, and not you either. I'm sorry to tell you. But that should be freeing, that when you look at the things that you feel like are falling apart, that you feel like you're failing at, like, I listed all those things I want to be doing and I'm actually not doing any of them, then I can actually turn to Jesus and say, "You're holding all of this together," because I can't do all of that. So show me the 3 things, or even the 1 thing that you want me to do today for you. And then I can rest in the fact that when I can't hold all those other things together, I can't keep spinning the plates. I can't keep spinning, doing the dishes and the laundry and doing the videos and taking care of the kids and painting and sewing and when I can't keep all of those things spinning, Jesus can do it. And he may just tell you that these plates are unnecessary. What he may tell you is focus on me. He may say focus on your family for a while. He may say focus on your job for a little while, and I will show you the path that I want you to take. So as we struggle with our identities and comparing them to each other, sometimes we feel like we're falling short, like we're not perfect. And the harsh reality is that we are not. But we live in a world where no one else is either. Thank God for that. Okay, thank God that we are not alone in our brokenness. But it's not that just we're in a boat with other people. Jesus is in that boat with us, guiding us to perfection, because he has lived this life and he lived it perfectly. So he can be our example for how we can practice towards perfection. So I hope today that we can find a way to practice towards perfection, towards progress. That we can find a way to practice towards progress this week. That we could know that when we fail, Jesus is there. That in our weakness, he is strong, and we can lean on that. So if you haven't already, check out the blog. I'll list it in the description below. Anyone who is subscribed to the blog or to the YouTube channel, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and if you would, leave us a comment. I'd love to hear what you enjoy, your thoughts on perfection and Jesus and family and whatever else it is you want to talk to me about. But any subscribers to the channel or to the blog, you are going to get a freebie this week of refrigerator signs that you can print out and you can post somewhere that you can see it to help us remember that we are practicing to progress, not perfection. Because sometimes I think we get confused on what we're actually working towards. So all of that said, I pray that this has been a blessing to you so that you can be a blessing to someone else. Love you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.